last week. Been a whole year, but it feel like last week. When I was your boy, falling hard in the back streets. But you were there to catch me. Then I grew up and the sun got cloudy. Used to feel the sun on my skin, yeah, it's sappy. That's the last time I was truly happy. So I'm asking, if I fell down right now, would you catch me? If I fell down right now, would you? If I fell down right now, would you catch me? Catch me, baby, would you catch me? I've been hurt before, are you sure that you're still gonna catch me? If I fell down right now, would you catch me? Catch me, baby, would you catch me? I'ma let go, all I know is I need you to catch me. Would you catch me? I ain't written one love song since she left me. Trauma in my memories. When I try to hold you, my body doesn't let me. So baby, would you catch me? Oh, baby, would you catch me? Baby, would you catch me? Make it alright. I ain't felt in love in a really long time. Would you catch me? Look in my eyes. Tell me there's something new. I got issues with my trust. I don't wanna fall in love, so I guess I'm falling out of it. Come help me adjust. I got issues with my I got issues from my past. Come and put them in the past. Cause baby, I'm falling fast. Like 3 digits on my dash. Swerving through the back streets. Don't you let me crash, please. Baby, would you catch me? Baby, would you? If I fell down right now, would you catch me? If I fell down right now, would you? If I fell down right now, would you catch me? Catch me, baby, would you catch me? I'ma let go, all I know is I need you to catch me. Would you catch me? I ain't written one love song since you left me. Trauma in my memories. When I try to hold you, my body doesn't let me. So baby, would you catch me? Baby, would you? If I fell down right now, would you catch me? If I fell down right now, would you?
All right, what's up, guys? All right, let's get into it. We got PPI in a few minutes. Let's do the thing. What's up? We got Shelby, Greg, Harshi, Luis, Joe. We got the OGs, Edwin, Seth, Carlos. All right, what's up, guys? So yesterday we actually talked about, I see a lot of syndicates on here. So yesterday we were talking about the idea of buying either Dow or NQ in this imbalance, and I wasn't awake for this anymore, so it wasn't like I was gonna take this. But wow, almost absolutely perfection here. I think it was a tick away, maybe 2. And then it was my thoughts were like, yeah, just right below the breaking this low into the imbalance is kind of what I think we could get. So that's cool. This obviously would have, at least the idea overall was great. Consolation prize. But regarding actual market trading for now, yeah, NQ and yes, probably maybe would have triggered more people in. It went a little bit deeper into the imbalance. But setups wise now, despite Dow breaking the low, it does look like it gave us a bigger reaction over here. So in my opinion, it looks like we kind of break below a bit more aggressively. We work our way up and up and up, and then we get above this high here. Not quite breaking above the 5-minute high or anything like that. And then we quickly work our way down. So the bearish structure is very much, at least in my opinion, still alive over here. And I think I'd kind of rather just trade a sell way up here in this range. You know, we have the big pump over here. You have equal highs, liquidity over here as well. So you got there's some money that can be swept. I think we could trade out of here. Of course, we got options, you know. So NQ takes out the low, and these are small time frame setups at this point now. Like we'd be trading this because of, you know, swaps in direction on like a 1-minute time frame. So you can see this on NQ. You see this on Dow Jones. Very similar sweep of liquidity. This takes out Tokyo lows. So a couple hours worth of retail buyers. Same thing with Dow. Same setup. So could this still work out? I think it still could play out. I just don't know how ambitious we can be with a move like this. Even London highs right here from about an hour and a half ago, these end up mitigating this little pump that we saw during Asian session. So I'm curious. I'm curious on how the market can play out from here. So we have a point of interest, this area here for NASDAQ. We have a similar zone here for Dow Jones. We have, you know, the same exact thing for S&P. I think now it comes down to really how aggressive these things are going to go. We are not seeing the most proof that the market, you know, wants to, like this move up here swept a lot of Asian session liquidity trading into this other order block, and then it starts to drop. So even if we're going to choose to take a position here, I wouldn't go for I wouldn't go too far with this. I think I'm open to taking advantage of something here. We do see a 1-minute shift in structure, even, you know, a bit more. But yeah, I wouldn't pursue this too far ahead. I'd probably push maybe 2.5 or something like this. But now it's a matter of seeing if this works its way down. Okay, what has a better chance? So we're just going to look at price action, how quickly one is retracing over the other. And depending on how that all goes, we could just see markets go higher. If that is the case, then there's the market trading around the New York Open prices, like we saw with this big move right over here. Big move with New York Open. So we got a lot of movement right here. So now we wait. Yesterday we had Bitcoin mitigating this low over here, way down here. I had a zone here for a bit, but when Bitcoin got to this area, ETH was still, like, Bitcoin was dropping more aggressively than Ethereum, than all the alts. So I didn't take anything over here. But when we saw Bitcoin get to this area over here, at this point, everything looked more aligned. So I did like buys here a bit more. Curious to see kind of what this looks like if we're gonna bounce more aggressively or not. It's been pretty mellow. So it's been break below. The market comes back in. It is definitely just moving sideways. So maybe it gets a break below and a continuation, but not something I'd trade with margin. Dollar cost average, sure, but not something I'm looking to do with margin. And then metals. Metals yesterday gave us a shakeout move as well before. And it continued, and then it dropped again. So yesterday, we saw a nice drop here. Market comes all the way up to fill some of this imbalance, worked its way down, so rebalances, trades up to structure where we had support again, and then in here, you kind of see another version of the shakeout, whether it's gold or silver. Do it again and again. You get little 1 minute mitigations, 1 minute plays, but as of how the market is moving now, take a look at how we are sub 100 now. We had another crash with silver here. This is wild. Silver has dropped 21% in a matter of 24 hours. Wild. And this traded down to not quite into this imbalance, but pretty close over here. So I'd say whether, going for buys right now, the big crash starts to happen here. So I feel like we're already recovering a bit further. Like we would need some incentive, strong incentive to work our way higher. Gold, right, drops, comes up, drops, comes up, drops. So we do see a break below. The market recovers. So here's a higher time frame perspective here, right? You see gold sweep all the way down to here. And, this works its way up pretty well, creating some resistance. It kind of depends on how you look at this. The market does start to crash during London. It doesn't crash like one big swoop. It kind of chops its way down. So I do understand the way that this worked its way down, and this was also playing into a smart money sell-off right there. So you had honestly a pretty nice play right here. And then the big reaction, the market sustains demand here, worked its way down. So I really could see a setup here with gold. I think gold over silver. And if you kind of notice how this starts to work its way down, the final drop kind of starts to happen right here. If you go just down to the 1 minute. So gold or silver looks like it's leaving some opportunity here. There's so much volatility. Like it's absurd. And like stops are now, it's just ridiculous how much a stop loss, like how big stop losses are now compared to what they used to be. Yeah. I didn't drop an alert about this one. My bad. All right. So potential with gold. We'll come check in on that. Dow here and NQ. These are pretty similar. Like I feel like I don't really know which one's gonna play out. It's a waiting game now. But we got a decent move here in between the 38 to 50%. You look at NQ, similar situation. Actually, a little bit higher. Right at the 38.2. Dow is slightly lower, closer to the 50%. So yeah, we might see the NQ play here. Patiently waiting as usual. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. So now, what gets done, right? We have more dollar news here, more price action unfolding compared to yesterday. It's kind of been just more choppy, in my opinion, around these areas. Lower highs being created with Australian, NZD. Setup's not quite there for me. Euro, similar scenario. Euro is interesting because it breaks below. So it cracks below here, takes out tons of liquidity. It takes out the high, but then just drops right back in. So here is where you see money come in and then drop. So if we get lower lows, I would be interested in sells over here. CAD looks similar. Now here, I think Vaughn sent this yesterday. He showed the big drop into here. The market goes over, and then over here it kind of just goes up. It comes back down, comes back up. So I don't know how convinced I was on structure here. I feel like, yes, it was up here for 3 hours, but something, I don't know why, but it's just like I just wasn't really sold on it. Saludos. Yeah, I mean, metals right now are in a place where volatility really is strong. You catch the right trend, you're catching the trade of your life, you know. So yeah, it looks pretty good. Distribution with yen looks great. So I actually really like this trade right here. I like seeing the market work its way like over to this zone. You guys, I'm sure can see this a bit better here. Bearish structure takes out some liquidity, and Asian session starts, takes out liquidity, and then everything drops. So I like yen price action, and yen's been a bit more bearish. So yeah, sells in here look good. Let me add this to. Let's go. Sorry, today's trades. It's the 30th. So the yen. All right. So yeah, looking at the market from this position, we definitely have something nice. And I don't know if you guys have looked at, for example, the pound, right? The pound broke this high so quickly and then immediately dropped. So these aren't my favorite types of buys. I see tons of support over here. Like a part of me is like, oh, you could buy in this zone. Same thing with like CAD or Euro. Like all of these have a very similar approach. The downside is that because they break above and drop so quickly, like we see right now, this just doesn't convince me on this the market bouncing for a long time. So I've seen this, do what it's doing now just to come down and make another leg down. So I'm opting out, but we'll see if maybe that was the right play. The way I approach structure, I do think gives higher probability trades. However, it will miss out. You will miss out on some trades. Right now, we're trading well above the 38.2 after this first drop. Dow still below it. So it looks like, if anything, NQ has a chance of working its way down, trading over here, and then bouncing. And honestly, if you look at like the majors, it looks pretty similar. Like the setups look pretty similar, except that they already took out the highs and failed. That's the biggest difference. So I'm opting out. The way my thought process is, this already had an incentive to go higher and clear this out, and it failed. So now there's really not the same type of incentive for market to bounce and then get up to here either. Like, it already took out all of the liquidity, which would have been a higher incentive there. Going here towards metals, take a look at how we're working our way down here again. And right now we're seeing gold drop slower than silver. Silver is already kind of working its way down into this area, while gold is still kind of in this consolidation here. So again, you could use the same thing, right? Use your fib retracement tool just to understand, okay, how deep is this retracement so far between these correlated assets. Simple. We got silver down here at the 71. And we got gold up here above the 618 still. So it looks like we'd have a better chance with gold. And then it comes down to committing to an entry point, which I'm just going to set right here. And the first target for me, it seems like it would be at least these highs, if not, targeting London highs over here. So, based on what we have here, I feel like I can set the limit and we're good to go. Here we go. My bad. It's on this one over here. $500 is a little over the. If I can't go a unit higher, because then I'll be way over. I guess that's all it's gonna be. All right. This is how volatile these are now. A micro is like almost $400 with this kind of risk. Pretty impressive. The way things are looking now, if let's say we just don't work our way down to this area, if we let's say indices, right? Indices just don't work their way towards the low and they just decide to continue to the upside first, then I am leaning towards sells with NASDAQ or with Dow. So we'll see. Urgency wise, I think the setup that's the nearest is this one. So I'll go ahead and share this gold idea here. Gold. Yeah, we're not too far. All right, so we're starting to crash in there. Now we're at below the 71 here with gold, silver approaching 886. So if anything, silver breaking this low here and gold staying within the structure, that divergence is solid. That is usually a higher probability that we can get a really good bounce, because this would be just taking out retail buyers by trading below here. Let's see, we're not quite there yet. We do start to see this drop from over here, but we have some order blocks. So honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if we reject here briefly. You kind of see it chop up and down. So a little rejection like we're seeing right now, it's expected in my opinion. All right. Waiting game here. Nah, it's from there. All right. Let's see. I feel like this New York Open idea that we're talking about here might be, or this mitigation, this might come down to New York Open times. All right. It is what it is. Okay. We have, all right, another leg down. So there's the little bounce. There's a little order block bounce. Okay. Gold at the 71. Silver in between both. Let's see. Are we going to get the good old switcheroo? What was the ass? A few of the majors like 6J and 6E look like they have a trend on liquidity above on the 15-minute. All right, let's take a look. Might have missed that. Like over here. I think that by the time the market gets over here, I feel like this already would have been cleared. Like when I look at trendline liquidity, it's not that it just needs to break something here. It's like it needs to break the trend line just in general. Which I feel like we already have seen that break through here. Unless you're looking at something like this, but even this is 2 points, doesn't really do much yet. Euro. Let's see if you're, something like this. Yeah, Euro, okay, for sure. Euro would have to break at some point here, depending on where, how long it takes. Yeah, it could break above this for sure. All right, kind of choppy here. Gold still looks like the right decision there. What we haven't gone over yet is oil. right, so has oil been moving around here? So all week it's just been on a tear, as bullish as it can get basically. Monday during Asian session was the low, and then from here we've just seen it just go and go and go and push and push and push and push. At this point, we got a bit bigger of a drop after it clears a whole bunch of this liquidity during Asian session, comes back in, continues its drop, and then until it clears out these lows, trading into, I wouldn't even say there's a setup here or anything like that. I guess this was a sell-off here. Get a big sell for an hour or for 15 minutes right there before a continuation. Not something that I'm like, oh, wow, like such a, yes, it's a big move down, but it's not like it sweeps a ton of liquidity either. From here, once that is cleared out and this takes care of Wednesday's London and Tokyo lows, not even actually, just London lows, comes back in, it chops into, the, like where the market had dropped from. But regarding like entries, you'd have to go down to the 1 minute and you'd see a big move here where this 1 minute drop clears out about an hour's worth of buyers, mitigating here, and then we get above for let's see here, about a little under 2 hours. So I don't typically trade 1 minute time frames on oil. Could the market reject this area? It's possible. I don't have enough data trading 1 minute on oil though, so I can't really give a confident setup here like, oh yeah, we're gonna get a good bounce out of here, market's gonna keep going. Yeah, I don't have that 1 minute data on oil. All right, so Dow starting to climb its way, or I guess climb down, work its way down, and Q holding up a bit better. All right. Here is, I didn't share a NASDAQ play yet, right? So NQ buys look good here. And then, yeah, based on how things work here, I think I'm cool with just like a 2R. Yeah, so I did go over Euro. Excuse me. My thoughts on Euro. I don't know which buys you're talking about specifically, but we see this dip down here. And over here, we're seeing the market between the 71 and 786. So I do see a sell-off. The thing is, I just see the same thing everywhere. Now, if you're talking about buying within this range, like where it's at right now, I feel like this break above this high, if it filled in balance and then dropped, this for me isn't really enough. It looks like it fails to create a higher high. So I'm not really pushing towards buys in these areas. And then so the higher one, I'm not convinced because NZD and Australian, they all have the same setup. So this drop from London session on the 27th, like you have NZD, that's got the same thing, but it's way higher in the structure. You have Australian as well. So I'd prefer not to. And then, yeah, even now, look at this. Like, CAD's actually starting to drop. It broke below the London low. So even CAD, this may end up being a distribution in the beginning of, like, shorts. If, let's say, we keep going bearish here. Same thing with the pound. Fails to make a high, like an actual high. So these are higher, like a lower win rate probability when it does that. So that's all I look for. That's just like keeps me in the game. Gold rejecting still here, so nothing I can really do. Wonder if we get another leg down. I guess we'll stay put. We'll see. Looks like maybe post New York Open we get the movements. It looks more likely. Natural gas still on a mission. After so much liquidity. This is the liquidity that I was talking about earlier in the week. Like, there's so many retail sellers over here. So this finally just said, all right, thanks for playing, guys. Greetings. ¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo estamos, Chile? So we have not only, right, do we have PPI that went down, and then we have New York Open here in a little bit. All right, hold on, I got to refresh this. Rumor has it that we'll have a new Fed chair announced today. So if that's the case, that can make some fun. Okay, so looks like Jesus. Metals, I don't know, man. That's a pretty big move. Unless I'm seeing something wrong here. I'm curious if this was the move. I've got a big move up here. Trades into this area. Takes out the highs, drops again. So is this valid? I still think we rejected order blocks more than we rejected anything else. So I'm still open to it. Honestly, actually, I'm going to drop this down a little bit. So I do think we could still work our way down. We got a big rejection. We're starting to see bullish momentum. But I think we missed the actual sell-off. So this might be temporary. Silver also booming, not to the same extent. Looks like we got the mitigation of this small time frame move. So we'll see. We'll see how this thing continues, where it goes from here. This might be one final buyer's enticement, creating more stops right here before it drops again. But obviously, if this keeps taking out highs, then, the setup's over, I guess. Insane. We just saw within minutes, like in the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes, this thing just ran like 600, 500 pips. Chose Warsh this morning. I haven't even looked, so. All right. Let's see. Give me a sec. He did announce Warsh. He is nominating Warsh, but he hasn't been chosen. That's important. Nominating Warsh to be the chairman of the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve System. He was a member of Mergers and Acquisitions at Morgan Stanley and currently serving as Vice President and Executive Director. Okay. Cool. Very interesting. I wonder how frequently the president's nomination turns into the selection. Let's see. All right, metals doing their thing. If we come back, that'll be a different conversation. For now, we wait. All right, so here's where we're sitting with Dow, a little bit over the 38.2. NQ, much higher than that. Okay. So pretty chill start. I'd say, guys, if you want some water, if you got to do your business, do your thing. So the fun really begins here in probably 20 minutes or so. I'm looking up here how often the nomination by a president turns into the selection, like the actual choice. And, yeah, like what that level of influence really is there. Because technically, right, the chair, I mean, it's a pretty direct, since the president is the selector, and the Senate is the gatekeeper, in a way. So it's basically how the person becomes the chair. Okay, cool. So yeah, all that's missing now, I think, is just a Senate consent, unless that's also there. Let's see. Okay. I mean, based on what I'm seeing here, Yellen nominated, confirmed. It's basically a done deal. All right. So with that being said, my thoughts on that at this point, then, it's much more likely that we get interest rate cuts, that we get everything, the agenda that Trump is looking for here is more than likely able to happen. I'm sure there's a reason that Warsh got the nomination, the head nod. So obviously the Federal Reserve is separate from the government, right? It has to be. But I feel like you don't get a nomination without being on the same page. And so what that means is, I think we get markets accelerating again, believe it or not. I don't know if that means we're going to keep seeing metals go crazy, but we can check. So let's take a look at something. So last time we got rates cutting and then eventually rising. What did that do to the markets? Like what happened? What did that lead to? So let's look at this from a historical standpoint, and I'm just gonna look at gold, just gold in general. So look at, here is how things went down for gold. COVID goes down, gold crashes down into the 1400s, 1450. It's wild. I've been trading gold since it was sitting at like 1100. Jesus. But anyways, gold here. Here's COVID drop. And then following that, so just so you guys basically see, if you have maybe you're not familiar with like the history of how things have gone here, but interest rates get the alarming drop, like the overnight drop. It was already pretty low anyways. Like they were lower than, like before COVID, it was lower than where we are now. But we got the big drop, like the aggressive cut right in March. So right over here. And then another cut in March. We get the second cut back basically down to zero. And then from there, we chill at zero for up until December 2021, actually January 2022, and then we start to climb. Markets start to dip a little bit before the interest rates start to go up again. But gold in the meantime, once we started to see that drop in interest rates and then the continuation, that just led to another rally here. And then the market came basically just chopped up until it started to distribute, work its way down to these levels in September 2022. So it took from those cuts, about 4 to 5 months to make another push. Market pumps another 160, or what percentage here? Another 45%. So yeah, it seems like, I mean, everything just goes on another level. I wouldn't be surprised. So right now, right, we're getting a pretty substantial drop. I feel like we can work our way down into the, like come back to life here. Over time, I think getting back down to these levels would liquidate a lot of gold traders, investors. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get everyone to get kind of flushed out of gold, and then interest rates hit again. All the excitement comes back towards metals. So right now we've been on this like generational run. Just even the last 2 weeks has been just absolute. I mean, for months, but like it went up somehow even more lately. So thinking in terms of context, narrative, how could you get people out of what's going to be a successful asset, and it's like flush them out, make them bleed right before things get really good? So that's what awaits us here. New York Open in 16 minutes, folks. 16 minutes. We had, the gold push here on the small time frame. So pretty nice move. Silver couldn't hang. Made the same type of pump, filled in balance just to work its way back down. So no, not enough. So I do think we're going to get silver breaking these lows here with London, and I am very curious to see where that takes gold, if that does happen. Okay, guys. So looking at price action now between NASDAQ, S&P, and Dow Jones. Dow, right, YM over here is starting to just continue to work its way up. So there is no, I would say, guarantee at this point that it's going to be NQ that can be the buy. Now it looks like it's just as likely for it to be Dow Jones that trades, that's slower on the way down. So this is going to be, in my opinion, kind of like a real-time decision to make. So I'll have two alerts. One, once we're like actually in the point of interest, and the second will be once we're on the way there. All right, let me see. What's good in the chat? Chop it up with me. What's happening? Do I think we go for a new high again now? Not quite. I mean, a lot of people say a lot of things. Well, yeah, of course. Michael, I wasn't being serious about whether they're whether the Federal Reserve and the government are separate or not. He wants to cut rates with tariffs. What's up, Hector? Did a whole thing on events that have had the most drastic effects on the economy and why they happened on yesterday's London session. Did you drop a summary or something in here? I know you drop your recordings when you do your sessions and stuff. London session recording. This was 23 hours ago. So maybe not yet. All right. What was the question in here? I was trading gold. Actually, I sold 87 contracts. Is that going to take my account away? It says 12 contracts, the most are 120 micros. Oh, damn. 87 contracts and it worked out. That's wild. Damn. That's wild. Yeah. Unless it happened today and you can just take some losses and bring it down. That's something right there. $87 contracts on gold is... that's something else. Good problems. See, if that would have happened not on an instant funded account, if that would have happened like on a funded account with like TopStep, yeah, you'd be good. Keep all of that. Yeah, I like gold still. It's not mitigated for me. To me, it looks like it played out of order blocks. And I have a smaller time frame zone. Like there's a 1 minute drop that I like right here. So I'm open to it. But if you don't like it, you got to trade your game. You got to trade what resonates with you. This was a good move, right? This is an aggressive move. But with that being said, we get big moves kind of, I don't know, every waking minute now with these. So, yeah, I'm cool with it. So now Dow is really looking like it should be the one that could work out for the buy. 10 minutes out. How did the stock market close yesterday? Meta had a big jump. Microsoft had a big dump. Before it started, it was bigger. Oh my goodness. What a move. Microsoft on its way to sub 400. Lulu back at I'd say respectable prices over here. Kind of all over the place. Definitely all over the place yesterday. I wonder how we open today. So, you know what's interesting? I feel like every high impact news event has been just such a dud. Like PPI didn't really do anything. Unemployment claims didn't do much. Even FOMC didn't really do too much. This week has been not crazy. Yes, we've gotten big moves, but it hasn't been during these news events. It's been happening at just different times. So I feel like we're going to have another one of those days today where the markets get decisive. They'll trend without the need for an excuse, the need for some sort of catalyst. With the kind of drop that we've seen so far, damn, gold is just not chilling. Yeah, I wonder if we won't get this gold trade. If we take out this high, then that's a wrap. What? So, as always, guys, the way that the markets function, there doesn't need to be a reason specifically. It's not like something happens, gold has to drop or gold has to go up. That's not actually how the markets function. Basically, what happens is something happens, and that's the perfect excuse to, add massive amounts of orders or, add buy orders, sell orders. The biggest players in the world that orchestrate all of these events, all of these fluctuations, they use it as it's a perfect excuse. And I can say this confidently because we've seen the biggest institutions in the world orchestrate these ideas. They get fined every year, whether it's currency markets, all the markets, every single energy commodity, it doesn't matter. And so now it's okay, someone said something. There's a fear. Okay, cool. Perfect time, guys. All right, execute the sells, execute the buys. So I don't know which move you're talking about because every second it seems like it's dumping or pumping hundreds of points or pips. So it could be anything. It can be it's all narrative driven, so it can be the yen is speculating adding billions into their market. It could be there is war in let's see. there is something happening in South Africa with gold mines. There can be an Australian, for example, with oil. Okay, Venezuela. Here's now a catalyst for things to happen. And here's the thing too. This is why things are always so interesting. And something to think about. Look at oil. Okay, look at oil's price. Now, when we look at oil here, oil trading down to this area in December, clearing a lot of liquidity here. It breaks below, it comes back in here. It squeezes, and then it makes one pump down into here. Okay. Do you think that it's some sort of crazy coincidence that there was this massive oil catalyst, which was the shift in power in Venezuela due to U.S. government interference? Do you think it's an accident? Do you think it's a coincidence that it happens exactly at this point in the market when it's the absolute cheapest to have oil, basically, in years, after significant amounts of buyers are lured in at specific prices in which stops are relevant there? Like, do you guys think it's all just like, oh man, what a coincidence? Like, oh yeah, it was just a random Friday that they had some crazy ass team go and kidnap a dictator. Whole movie, straight up movie. Coincidence, right? It's like the coincidence on oh man, I don't know if is this a rabbit hole day? Maybe not. I'll leave that for maybe a different time. These clowns think they're slick. Most of our oil comes from Yemen. Yeah, and that's a whole other conversation. Like, okay, think about our involvement in Yemen. I think it was with Obama during Obama's run. Like, what the fuck are we doing in Yemen? You know, like what are we doing? And it's just interesting. It's all narratives. It's all like how you need to be perceived. Any major war or anything where we're involved in, where we're like trying to be the good guys, dude, it's always a money play. Unfortunately, that's just how it goes. I mean, you can go back decades and decades and decades and decades. Involvement in Vietnam, Grenada, Panama, El Salvador. Like, it's always a power, resources. It's always something. Yeah, it's really interesting. Kind of like how so Larry Silverstein's company, they have they owned the WTC, and it was like 7 weeks before 9/11 they signed this like 99-year lease and coverage. Yeah. Must have been a coincidence, you know. But all right, let's we got a couple seconds left, and we'll see here indices open. All right, the games begin. NQ pumping, Dow also pushing higher. Little sweep here. Bless you. We got London highs, Tokyo highs over here as well. Just gonna have alerts if we take out at least Tokyo highs. Decent momentum across the board. Okay. I'm open to selling Dow if we are a bit slower to work its way up to here. But I am down. It would be closer to, yeah, right around these areas like 49, 350. But preferably we're working our way higher, but with, like, let's say NQ leading the pack here. NQ can work its way up to these New York highs, if not maybe even higher. That would be, I think, the best way to approach this. Right now, we're seeing London highs swept. Let's see what comes from this. So look at how NQ instantly takes out London highs and then loses the plot. All right. NQ here sweeps, and now we're working our way right back down into the imbalance. So this could be, right, this could be the sign of something getting started. We don't really know yet, but this is how things can start. From here, we'd want to see liquidity buildup. All right. Well, that's, I don't know, fermenting. Well, while the indices are building up the play. Gold still pushing higher. Silver even further. Sad, man. Would have loved to be in this one. But you know what? We gonna be all right. Lean hogs in a buy zone. LEJ. What's up? All right, so look at how we're starting to build up, moving sideways, live cattle. Okay. I haven't traded that, never in my life. So can we keep moving sideways? And what is Dow doing? So take a look at this. Dow is hyped over here. Dow is pumping. It's taking out Tokyo highs. These equal highs over here, I feel like, are next on the list. So there's a chance we are going for this zone over here, this imbalance, if not maybe even higher. Look at just the difference. Like, it's so much more overwhelming price action with Dow. Right? It's taking out already Tokyo highs. You're not, S&P is nowhere near that, and Q is definitely anywhere near that as well. So I'd say now at this point, it looks more likely for NASDAQ to provide the short over here than it is for Dow. It looks like Dow can probably break through here first. Gold did react from the area that's of liquidity if you zoom out. I mean, it reacted out of here, sure. Like, there's There was another drop if you wanted to mark it up from up here. It looked a little choppy to me, whereas you could see the market. Like I wanted this. This is a 15 second, right? Here's where we see that final push down. Like this is, let's say, from 50.29. And then we bounce up again. Then we get the final leg down. So this is what I wanted, 49.97, basically 49.98. Yeah, if you look at it from the 15 or the whatever, like, sure. Here, dropped, came in, rejected. But that's boring. Why have the 15-second time frame if it's not going to work for us? If it's not going to give us elite precision. Trading out of here, I mean, this would have been, I think, a 550 pip stop. Right now, it would have been hitting a little over a 2R. But yeah, it's pretty minimal. Like, it's a big move, but risk reward wise, unless you're, just completely unrelated to any of that, and you're just throwing a contract in there. Because here's the thing, like, I know most people are over leveraging when they're trading metals right now. Like most accounts, especially if you're trading like challenges, if you're doing like 50Ks, there's like very low chance that you're getting trades for $200-$250. Like you're taking, most of these trades are gonna, especially with silver, you're lucky if you can even get a $400-$500 risk setup in there. Like there's gold, gold you can kind of sneak into. But if, for example, today, just now, that trade that we had that didn't trigger, if that would have been almost $400 trade, then it's just a lot of exposure for a lot of people. So that's like, I don't know. I'm detached to being in no matter what. So we saw the London highs get swept. Quick crash down, quick move right back up, comes right back down. Not decisive enough. We're not seeing demand anywhere. So, chilling. Just chilling. Now the question is, let's say metals were to come back down. If they were to work their way back down, is the setup still valid? It looks to me like silver worked its way all the way where it needed to before making, the move as well. So I don't think silver has any other reversal point except for what we had right there. Gold played out of these little order blocks, left it in balance. So I'm open to a position here still. But my stop loss management is definitely going to be, it's going to be on point if that were to be the case. All right, NASDAQ pushing higher. Here we go. I think now it would be getting Tokyo highs. And then now Dow. So look at the flip, price action flip. Dow is pushing lower after taking out Tokyo highs. and NQ and S&P are rating it higher. So this could either, I mean, this looks like more equal highs over here. Small chance that it's a shakeout. I think the higher time frame entry is better over here. So getting into this imbalance, looking for a short out of here makes more sense. And what we're seeing right now from the start of New York Open, there's a small chance that this could be a shakeout. Don't get me wrong. The market does get pretty close to these highs before it drops. Here's Dow. Here is this little high, this little push right there. End of day. So pretty damn close. And what you have now is the following. So let me just move that. This was New York Open. So New York Open gaps down here. No, this is PPI. My apologies. PPI here pushes down. With Dow, it fails to keep this high. Comes up right back down. So we'll see, right? Maybe we get a buildup, some sideways movement. Maybe not. And then if you're looking at NASDAQ and Q here, here is New York, or here's PPI, the drop. The market now is over here. Will this establish bullish demand? Are we going to maintain structure, stay up here? If so, then cool. Maybe there is a buy somewhere there that would make sense. That's why, like, when you're seeing Jesus, hold on. What up, Nazi? Nazi's chilling. Oh, the ice, dude, the river is frozen as fuck.
Oh, ice skate?
Apparently it's snowing too. All right, so yeah, right now, the highs that we're seeing that are being made right now, not too convincing. Got to give it time. Dow has a possibility of giving the shakeout, so that's when it takes out liquidity, especially London highs, Asian highs. If we get a little buildup, I'm open to it. I'd go less risk because we borderline have equal highs up here. Very, very close. I mean, it's like a couple ticks out, so you know, want to be meticulous there. But not even now, we're seeing again S&P failing to maintain those highs. We got NQ pushing towards up here again, and then dropping. So now we wait. News coming in 15. What kind of news? I don't think it's what news? What are you talking about? There's Chicago PMI in a minute, but that's like yellow folder. It doesn't really do anything. What are you talking about? Are you talking about no, I don't. Yeah, you let me know, man. I might be missing something. All right, Dow's chilling. And Q's working its way down here. We have, these PPI zones here, I'm not buying either. These lower zones still are valid here now. This looks more and more possible now as we're seeing things unfold. These kind of ideas, yeah. It showed me 9 a.m. news too and no PPI. Really? Huh. I don't know. Yeah, haven't noticed anything. I guess it just didn't for me for some reason. Okay. Silver and gold price actions flipping here. That's interesting. Got a little leg down here before the rally. We have, after Dow cleared London and Tokyo highs, we instantly are starting to work our way down. This might be a possibility here. This PPI drop for Dow, since the market failed to show that there are buyers at these higher prices, sufficient buyers at these higher prices, then this doesn't give me any confidence on continuations, at least not right now, to the upside. So shorts feel like are more likely to play out, especially if we kind of stay trading at these levels. So this is going to require a bit more time. Aprovecho. Yeah, I don't know, man. I feel like this week has been just like such a boring week. Like it's been, I don't know how to describe it. It's been boring while I'm streaming, and then I get off, and then shit just goes fucking crazy. So I'm here just like, just trying not to fall asleep to my own voice at this point. Like, just do something. Like, we're not getting setups ready, or they're not triggering, so it's like almost, not quite, just kidding. Come back later. So in terms of time, very inefficient trading. Very, like, it's just like you set alerts and then you just come back whenever. I don't know if anyone else has felt like that, but I feel like I'm like, all right, I'm just not, there's no point of even, like New York Open. I mean, at least with my entry model, that's the difference, I guess. Yeah, that's just how I approach the market. The setups aren't being as, like, they're not hitting, and we're not having news events that really do as much. So, yeah, it's just waiting around a lot more. I know some of you just trade, I guess, New York Open no matter what. I'm not sure how that strategy works, but, yeah, I mean, it just requires more patience. But I do like how New York, or how Dow Jones, how YM is setting up, though. We're kind of like slowly churning, setting up, slowly building up over here. So I do like possible sells on Dow a bit more. So shorting over here, especially if we kind of keep grinding this out. Like, we've now been dropping and moving sideways for the last 10 minutes. So the longer we do this and then we get another move, then I do like the short over here. I would go half risk just because of the, possible equal highs over here. Weren't they talking about another government shutdown today? They were. To my understanding, it's they possibly have figured that out. Once that's decided, though, sure, that's another catalyst for sure. That can shake things up. So, I know it's not 100%, but it seems like it's likely. That's the sentiment right now. Okay, so this is what I like. I like what I'm seeing with Dow. I like the choppiness. I like this, the luring in of retail buyers right now, especially if we can see. Now, this isn't always going to be the case, but if we see NQ just pushing even higher, while Dow is like suppressing its price action, that works well. Is it worth reviewing what happened when the last one hit the markets? Yeah, they were. I mean, things ripped. Metals ripped. Indices had short-term drops, and then they ran again. It's always worth doing a little bit of extra due diligence for sure. What's kind of like not what I don't like about, here's what I would want to see for this Dow trade to play out. I would want to see NQ take out Tokyo highs too. I don't know if that's asking for too much. But at this point now, I would feel like, all right, liquidations have happened across all assets. The markets are more primed for reversals because of that. That would be the most ideal scenario to be able to take a position here. Now we wait and see, folks. Silver is still pushing. Gold a little choppier than silver. Dow doing a good job, just chilling. So this is working more and more in the favor like we want to see. So the build-up, the retail buyer build-up is good. This pushing higher for it to then liquidate these lows would be strong, especially taking this out. And because we have Tokyo and London lows down here too still. And now that we've taken out these highs, like, for example, this was the incentive for price to go higher was because of what was going on over here. Now, let's say that we would, I don't know, just keep working our way down. I feel like we don't have the same kind of incentive to make a reversal anymore because of what we're already seeing. So this buy here, I don't know how likely it is to play out. So right now, I'm not taking anything here. I'm not in that market. I'd rather wait. The nice thing, at least, is that all of this is on the same page. So you're not seeing, NQ ripping to the upside and Dow going down, and then it just can become a mess on price action. You're seeing everything like, okay, everything's moving down together, but one is a bit more, there's just a bit more volume, more volatility. It's just pushing at a stronger and a stronger force versus the other one. That's kind of what we're seeing right now. Like Dow is definitely a bit more bearish, and that is clear here. All right, metal's starting to work their way down as well. Metals here coming back. Whoa, what did I do? Coming back down to into this imbalance. Let's see. Is this a tradable area? I prefer trading the extreme still, especially with the risk that's on the table. Yeah, I think I'm opting into that instead. Let's see, we're at 50% pullback right now with gold. Silver here. Honestly, holding it down a little better. All right. Dow continues to move like this. Cool. The more the merrier. I've seen enough from Dow here. The last, just like this whole last, 20 minutes or so, to say that as long as Dow is kind of the slowest to work its way higher, I'm open to shorting Dow. Especially if we break above here right now with NQ and Dow stays making a lower high. What about the liquidity in the 2 hour to the upside? For which asset? B, Tia. For Dow. So when we're looking at the markets from a smaller time frame, and why 2 hour? Why a 2 hour high? I'm curious about that. Like, what's the difference between a 2 hour high, 1 hour high, 4 hour high? What's your take on all that? I'm just curious, like, how you decipher that. But if you're looking at Dow here, are you talking about like up here? And if you are talking about price around 49,800, you'll notice that it's about a 6-7 point drop over here. Shut the fuck up. Get out of here, bro. Can't say nothing no more over here. So, yeah, if you're talking about over here, I mean, it's not a big difference, right? So could you consider this liquidity? For sure. But obviously, we're nowhere near this range. So at some point, can we get up here? Can this get liquidated? For sure. Is this a reason not to take shorts in any of this price action right now? Nah, that would still trade within all this because we're just so far from this. It's not an incentive right now that would drive price all the way over there. You would need a insane catalyst for something like that to happen. Y'all heard him in the background? Y'all heard him, right? That's funny. They're like, he didn't just say that, LOL. So I got to deal with every day. All right, everything's crashing. Very interesting. Man. All right. Dow now sub 50%, 50 to 61.8, or silver, my bad. And gold is same thing. Very similar. 9 a.m. now, so the turn of a new hour. Volatility likes to kick in here at the beginning of an hour as well. Oh, he said he uses imagination. I was thinking equal highs, equal liquidity for sure, and affecting this trade. Thank you for explaining that. Yeah. So if you got equal highs, but you're hundreds and hundreds of points away, it's like the market's typically gonna. It's like a magnet, right? The market's gonna go towards where it has the strongest attraction, but it also needs a driving force to get there. If you have liquidity in this example here on the, like, let's say for example you have liquidity up here, and let me just clean this up real quick. So if you have this up here, is this going to be the most relevant point of attraction for the market? Like, liquidity is like a magnet, so it's going to be pulled to it eventually. But would this be the first point of attraction? Would this be the first incentive? Like, are these institutions incentivized to get to here right now? Not quite, right? The reason that we have all of these opportunities throughout the day and throughout different times is because, whoa, hold on, guys, my bad. I just want to make sure we're silver and gold doing crazy things over here. So I don't have a limit set on gold, as you guys can see. And that's okay with me because gold is now starting to crash a bit more aggressively. It's starting to be way more bearish. So I would rather not be involved there. If anything, it looks like silver now is the opportunity, or not really an opportunity, but silver is lagging behind a bit more. So, yeah, you guys can see now we're entering this zone. So it's a bit more, the probabilities drop looking to buy gold because now we have a lot more bearish pressure. So, I mean, is there a chance that the market triggers it in and then price action flips again and now gold's more bullish? I mean, there's a chance, but you can see right now you're getting gold to give you lower lows while we're seeing silver trade upwards. So I would rather be in silver. Now here's the thing. The market can mitigate out of here. So this can react. And that could be the reason that silver rips from here. Plus silver has this little 15-second, drop, and the market can push up here. Actually, it already did. So it's really a personal choice now on whether you want to take a swing at metals from here. I'd say silver on its own doesn't really have too much. I mean, I guess it has this. And then we traded up here on the 1 minute for about 20 minutes. So I think it's more of a personal choice now. And whether you want to see that kind of volatility. If you are going to position yourself in a gold trade, I'd say have a wider stop. But yeah, there's a chance that we see, silver target those lows. I think it's just not a trade that you need to be in. Unfortunately, based on how we're seeing price action unfold right now, part of me is we can react from here, and silver can kind of hold it down, but there's also not a need for it. There's no need to be in the market. There's not an A+ setup here. And look at this now. Okay, here we go. All right, now maybe we get a shot. Look at how silver now is starting to break below what we hadn't seen it break below. Meanwhile, Gold is now still in the same area right there. So can I get where was this RR thing? Come on. I'm trying to go back. I don't think it's going to do it. All right, that's fine. So going back down to the 15-second. The entry was starting right here. So 49,975. Look at how we've been choppy right now with gold. Right, sideways. I'm not saying I'm taking this yet, but I'm just giving you guys an example. And then now, okay, there we go. Silver's now woke up again and was like, actually, let's get the ball rolling here. So sometimes it's just nice to, and you'll develop patience, a better pulse on the market just by watching. Sometimes you don't need to trade to get growth. Yeah, silver pushing out of here. So one of my theories looks like is kind of giving some validity, which is that there could be the catalyst to reverse out of here. Why is it like this? All right, here we go. Meanwhile, let me just take a look at indices here. All right, so just a quick update with indices. We have NQ that came down and then just left more liquidity here. So there's a lot of money sitting down there. Pumped up. Dow, right, worked its way into this imbalance. It's been choppy for some time. Now it's starting to work its way up. That short that we were talking about, it's getting into an area where, you know, we can see this start to fall from here on here. So I want to see some sort of, I want another reason. I want to see, like, can S&P take out these highs? Can NQ take out these highs before, you know, something drops here? Like, give you an extra confirmation that there's more liquidity swept before things drop. So here we have it. Gold came exactly to breaking above this liquidity. Maybe I'm being too picky at this point for the short. That's very much possible. But this is basically the trade that I'm looking for. Building up liquidity, luring in retail buyers, and then retail buyers can gain some traction. Out of this zone, we could start to see the market short. Something is kind of telling me, like, let's see if S&P or NQ can clear highs, and then where that leaves Dow. But that might not need to be the case whatsoever, especially now that Dow has already taken out London highs, Tokyo highs. Because you want your confirmations, but you also don't want to be paralyzed and just not take a trade that makes sense. But the reason I just want to be selective here is we're seeing, for example, Nasdaq is now kind of like it's not pushing upwards as strongly as it was before, and we're seeing Dow have a bit more of a bullish move, like S&P here. So, if you look at this from a 5-minute perspective, the market clearing London highs, not really sustainable. And then right now we're just trading out of what was the London high before. So we take out Tokyo London highs, we work our way in, we lure in some buyers. Market, well, not we, but the market creates liquidity to lure in buyers. And then price comes back up to here. Honestly, on its own, this was a valid short. It still could be, I guess. But now, taking the trade over here the risk reward isn't as nice. So I was saying, I feel like I just need to pull the trigger on this one. But this is basically what the setup would look like. And then targeting at least breaking through PPI or trading into this little dip that we have over here. Looks like a solid plan. All right, here's what I want to see. This is what I'm talking about. S&P takes out the high. NQ starting to go higher, and Dow's still kind of chilling over here. So, yeah, that's what I want. This is what I wanted to see a bit more of. I'm curious if NQ goes a little bit higher or not. But now Dow is holding up right here. I want to see NQ take out these highs. And then where does that leave Dow Jones? And that'll be my final thing here. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to go half risk now on Dow. And then if we do push a little bit higher, I'm okay with adding a little extra to this. So let's just go market. Hold on. Right before I do that. What's happening? Why can't I move? Dude, TradingView has these weird ass bugs sometimes. And it really pisses me off. All right. Now I think this is going through. All right, perfect. All right, so I took a short here. What the fuck? Or not? Bro. This is driving me crazy. All right, 1 second, guys. I need to figure out what's happening here before I just lose it. All right. Meanwhile, give me a sec. ¿Qué pasa? All right, that was a quick fix. Make sure that your lead account is the one that you're trading here. That's the advice. All right, half risk. Here. Actually, less than that. For now. Damn, this kind of got in the way of my risk reward as well. S&P took out the highs, and Q kind of just sticking within this. It's just a choppy mess. And then Dow at least starting to push lower. So this is a shakeout trade. Liquidates retail sellers from London and Asian highs. The market comes in, lures in buyers, comes back into basically near the highs here. Now that buyers are lured into the market, and that creates much more. There's a lot of stops here. So if you're buying over here, you're putting your stops right here. You're putting your stops down here. And this could lead to a push down to liquidate these levels. So that's my perspective at the moment with with Dow. Same thing can be, well, similar can be said for NQ, but the problem is it's not as clear here. Like NQ doesn't take out the highs, and then we get a break of structure. It like takes the highs out and then kind of breaks below the where the money starts to kick in. It does create more liquidity as well, so there is incentive for that to go lower, but we'll see. So here I'm under leveraged for sure. I only have like 40% of what I would risk on the table right now. I'm leaving the rest just in case we get a nice little clearance of this with NQ, and then I can get an extra another jab at this with a little bit more powder. So you see how NQ is starting to push up and Dow is kind of just chilling. I like that. I like that a lot. Gold and silver rallying again. Decisions. And Q looks like it wants to take out these highs. But we just need Dow to chill though. And Q can wild out, and Dow needs to chill out. It seems like every time Dow here is trying to push higher, it's not really holding up. So ideal scenario, NQ takes out those highs, and then Dow maybe just kind of trades up into this little pocket, and then from there take another position and let it ride. As of right now, this has a roughly 3R, a little under a 3R potential, but the risk is a lot lower. The squeeze, you guys know what that means. The longer the market squeezes, the bigger the move can be. That's beneficial to us because the max we can lose is 1R, which is whatever your risk is. But now the longer the market kind of builds up and moves sideways, the bigger the breakout can be. So that's why I actually prefer when the market squeezes. Sure, sometimes, it ends up in a loss, but when it doesn't, that ends up in a very nice move. What a rally for metals again. Without us, of course, but all right. Are you guys in this? You guys take a position here? Do you guys decide to just opt out, preferring a different trade? What's the take here today? What's Tradetopia thinking? In MIM? Are you guys in at full risk, half risk, less, more? Kind of just getting a pulse here. Waiting higher for you. Cool. You're in. All right. Again, guys, I'm not a signal caller. I just trade. You can do whatever you want. I just walk you through my logic, how I perceive the market, the context, the narrative, the why money's coming in and out, and then also just how I consider the emotional roller coaster of trading and how I process and filter things. Bull ported, beautiful. Half risk, full R. Going to execute when NQ sweeps and ES takes Asian highs. Okay, cool. I get it. This is not financial advice. Definitely not. I'm just some random dude in a hoodie in the middle of a snowstorm. Basically, I'm an Eskimo. You know? Your first Salvadoran Eskimo. So NQ taking out Tokyo highs. That's a bigger move too. That needs a real big push. I'm the random guy that full ports. Hey man, wish you the best. Oh, ES taking Tokyo. Got you. Yeah, that would be nice too. Is Dow making a decision, or is this just more choppiness? So there's sellers in here, there's buyers in here, and we're in the middle of it. You know, it's funny, the way you wrote that, Brandon, it kind of looks like you're speaking Spanglish. No es taking Tokyo. Some of you understand. Some of you will get it. And if you were to put an E after S, no SA, taking Tokyo. Let's see. Damn. Now Dow's not. Man, sometimes trading's just a pain in the ass. I'm gonna be honest. Now NQ is deciding to be more bearish. Is it gonna do this shit again? I spent half my language classes outside the class in the hallway. Hey, bro. Honestly, any language classes is probably not gonna get the job done. You just gotta go to Spain and stay there for like 6 months. That'll probably be more useful. A week out there, you'll learn more than being in a classroom. So now indices are doing the thing that I detest, or have a fully Hispanic crew that you're in charge of. That too. That works too. So we're going back and forth. The NQ Dow price action flip is in full effect here. Spain is full of British, LOL. Europeans hate the Brits. That sounds like a you problem, bro. Hey, with your kind of energy, bro, I wouldn't really trip about it. You know? Like, I'm brown. Apparently, people are supposed to have some type of way. But, like, I don't know. I feel like whatever filter you believe you have is what you're going to have. Like, I've never once in my life felt like I've experienced racism. And I for sure have, I'm sure. But, like, I just choose not to think that that's a lens that I'm going to be seen through. And I think that's, like, just so useful. Because if you think the stereotype, or you think, like, the way that you're perceived is how you're going to be perceived, then I think just, like, that's how you receive energy, conversation, whatever. Like, obviously it's true, these things happen, but I don't know, I just have never felt like it would limit me in any way. And to this day, it's basically been a strength. You know, you got the energy, bro. Race is a social construct. It was written by the Portuguese in the 1500s. A guy named Zurara wrote the book. The Zurara guy, man, he really fucked it up for a lot of people. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm brown too. I'm the Indian guy here. All right, so indices. I mean, at least it looks like S&P and NQ decided to drop. That doesn't necessarily really help me here. Man, I have to drive into LA today. I'm not looking forward to these protests. Godspeed. Oh, yeah, today it's like don't spend money in protest, right? I think that's a thing. I'm really not dialed in with current events the way, like, the social current events. I'm just, all I know is, like, is Powell speaking today? You know? What's Trump going to say? Yay, we have it going down now. Okay, so NQ looks like it's going to take this liquidity first. I am very much open to reducing risk if that happens, or when that happens. So we'll see. Now Dow is starting to pick up. Okay. Yes, sir. So same thing here, right? We have these lows over here. So let's see. Yeah, it looks like it's pretty similar now. It looks like everything is just kind of tanking together. So about a 1-to-1 here. Super under leveraged, sadly. You're in NQ sell for me. That's nice, man. That makes me happy, Luis. The more payouts you get, the happier I feel. All I want. That's all I want. I just want everybody here to make a boatload of money and do it in a duplicatable way so that it's something that you can do forever. And if I get to be part of that process, sick. All right, so we're seeing the imbalance, right? The imbalance that we had here, that's going down. Now we're starting to kind of bounce out of there a little bit. So we did see, Dow drop out of here, trade into this zone. I think now it's very much effective. Like, it's rebalanced. It's targeted smart money. So typically, like, does it have to break these lows? I'd say it doesn't have to. But it's looking like it will. So let it ride. And then, okay, let's zoom out just a little bit here. The market not only was squeezing in this little smaller time frame, but it's been squeezing for the last almost 4.5 hours. So this breaking below, like, I wouldn't target this anymore. Like, this is not something I would look to trade. If anything, I feel like we're probably going to end up just going below London lows again and just keep going like this way. Because of all of this squeezing. Now, sometimes it breaks below and then immediately just gets absorbed. Cool, that's probably, and then we're probably not going to get it. But in the examples we're seeing right now, that very much could be the case. All right, so we're breaking below now. I am going to tighten my stops. I'm going to just go risk-free here. And then now we see how aggressive this is going to continue or not. Is this just going to be a liquidity capture and then the market just comes right back in? And then, yeah, I went break even already. Now that we've targeted these lows, we've broken below, I'm very much cool with going break even. If anything, like this could actually go into. So this is being copy traded for those of you that are maybe newer to the channel. So this is being copy traded across 4 different firms, and so it's under leveraged here, but net positive. I mean, it's a lot of accounts going, so it's not, it's not a bad thing. And then now we're seeing, NQ like really breaking below. So NQ leading the pack. When that's the case, then, and now, like we know here in the situation that we're in, the asset with the least amount of bearish momentum, at least for now. Maybe things change later. But we just broke below for NQ the PPI low. Whereas if you look, Dow is still within this section. So I'm putting my stop in profit in case this is just going to eat it up and reverse. That way I don't have to, give up too much. The Bank Busters. That username is familiar. Who is the Bank Busters? I know that little logo. Hold on. Who is you? I've seen you on this channel from way back. Adames, maybe? I feel like it's an Adames thing. It's got to be Adames. I think if my memory serves me correctly. All right, it's here. Adames, see? Psh, I knew it. I don't know why I remember obscure things like this. What's good, bro? What kind of trippy things have you been up to? CIA Mike? Never. Me? Come on. Sips tea. Well, coffee, but. Okay, so targets. I feel good about. I want to see kind of how we continue to progress. Like we're seeing how as soon as NQ took out the lows, it kind of just tucked back into the range. It bounced off of these previous lows to just reject down to here. So it can kind of go either way right now. I've been long on silver since 2023, so very pleased. Yeah, man. I had a swing trade going with silver in October of like 2023 and 2024. Basically every year, going into quarter 4, we try to find a swing trade. Couldn't get my way in there this year, and of course it's the year that we should have. I love that we trade as a community with our own thoughts. It's the best feeling to know that collectively we're taking money from the banks. It's the coolest feeling. Not making money is cool, but I think when you have a certain skill that's just not dependent, like everyone independently can do this, and it doesn't negatively affect anyone here. I think that's pretty cool. Even if we were trading against each other, like even if I was in a buy and you're in a sell, because of how small of fish we are we are microorganisms in an ocean when it comes to the actual amount of capital that's being moved in here. So it's funny. Someone messaged me and they were like, "Oh, you're just using me as liquidity for your trades," and I was like, "Bro, like." That's so goofy. That's so goofy. Like you still, after all these years, don't understand how the market works. Like, bro, doesn't matter what we do here. This is irrelevant. We do not, by any stream of the imagination, influence what's going on with these future charts. Like, we're not even crumbs. We're not like little grains, not even grains of sand. What you think about that zone below London low? I mean, I like it. What zone below London low? What are you looking at? Over here. Yeah, I marked this up sometime last week, I think. Over here that we haven't gotten into. Wednesday. This was FOMC. No, this was... No. This was before New York Open. Yeah, we could get up here. We can get down here. It's possible. Right now, I want to see... there we go. It beat me to it. We weren't like really strongly breaking below this. So I wasn't fully convinced on whether we're like finally ready to work our way down. So this is why like stops in profit matter to me. And I want to see what that looks like with, yeah, there we go. So look at how aggressively we saw NQ just fly up, rebalance. This is kind of, if the market holds, then Dow is in a better position. It has more of an advantage because Dow didn't pump the same way, right? Dow was very minimal to the upside, and now it's immediately actually dropping. So now we might have Dow Jones drop in our favor since it suppressed price from flying up so aggressively. That's a good thing. So if we eat up this imbalance that was just created and the market just drops right back down, then honestly, that's more confirmation that the market can keep working its way down. Artificial name suppression. You really like dropping this fact. CME issued $700 billion worth of contract with only $400 billion in the vault. That's what one of the major dealers. I started physical dollar cost average in 2023. I love that, man. Those small cap cryptos, when we moved the market, I learned something new that day. Oh, you're an OG. So yeah, when we were trading these small market caps in 2021, I used to do a crypto session, I think once or twice a week, and it was like I didn't realize how many people were on and like how many people were gonna throw down, but we were trading this micro cap coin. I think it was the market cap was like maybe like 5 million, so it was pretty small, but we had probably like 500 people on the stream. Is that the time where everyone was just like fiending for crypto? Because, you know, there was the most 2020, 2021 was the most ridiculous era for things that just didn't make sense. Huh? The internet. Yeah, the internet in general. But yeah, there's these small market caps that we could just trade and we'd make like 100% on them. Well, I was doing that, and then I was like, all right, cool, let's do it together. And then I'm like, wait a minute. I didn't realize like how thin the liquidity on it was. And so basically I was like, all right, guys, like here's what we're going to do. And so we all bought in at the same time. And I think we ourselves pumped it up 100%. And then there was enough, you know, going on where like, you know, everyone obviously ended up dumping on themselves too, but like at least it was in profit. But yeah, it was hilarious to see just like the power of it when it is super, super small. And like you can see your own order. You're safe, Moon? Nah, it wasn't even my coin. It was just something that was already there. Nah. It was after the fact. It was a live coin. The problem was that there was just not much liquidity. So it ended up. But, you know, lessons. I had the craziest luck in a bad way with a coin once where it was this exchange and it was created by like the entrepreneur of the year in somewhere in the Middle East. And so like it looked legit. And then the government, like the same day I bought, the government arrested the CEO because they did not want crypto to be going down in their country. And so like their top like entrepreneur ends up getting clapped because of it didn't align with the higher powers. So I'm like, what are the chances? All right, cool. So stop profited out. And yeah, that's it. So not a big deal, because now it kind of looks like we have a possible mitigation setup here. I don't know why I kept this on this. I just like wasn't looking. But if this continues to rally, now we saw a sweep of liquidity, and then we can look for possible buys here. So I made a little bit of money, nothing crazy. Craziest trading experience ever? Like crazy in which way? Yeah, crazy in which way? Like good, bad, just overall ridiculous. Let's see. Crazy. I didn't realize how low I was over here. Oh, cameras. This thing is still so dark. One sec. Oh, what the heck? I don't even know what that thing was. Camo camera. That's weird. Like something you sat through and then looking back, you've been like, wow, how'd that even happen? I think my first like 5-figure trade, that one didn't make sense. I wasn't ready for it. So that was trading XRP. I just happened to be trading it in December and January. So December 2027, January 2028. And so that was like, I caught XRP while it was creating like on margin on my main account while it was creating all-time highs. So it's just like, it's like kind of what you like, imagine seeing gold, what gold's been doing the last like 3 months, what silver's been doing, but it happens in like 4 hours. So imagine that. Imagine something like tripling in value in a very, very short amount of time, and then catching that on margin. So that was a very outsized. That was like, oh, this is trading. Like this is what can happen. My risk, I think my risk was like $100 or something. Yeah, I didn't have a big account. Like it was nothing crazy. And then it did like, no, hold on, let me think. No, it was like $200. And then, yeah, the trade was like a 50R. It was ridiculous. But it was because it's like how you're seeing silver right now. So think about it this way. For example, silver, we were used to seeing trade like this. Silver and this is even this is started getting a lot more volatile. But you would only really see silver fluctuate like $1 in a day. Now it's doing $1 fluctuation in a minute. I just want you to think about the difference. Silver would fluctuate $1 within a day. Now it fluctuates $1 within a minute. So it's that kind of volatility. So imagine that, but with XRP. So that one was pretty crazy. That was like my first expanding moment. I got to witness people take like 1,000, 1,400 to like 80K, 100K in 3 days. That was nuts. And then lose it, unfortunately, which was crazier, which kind of shows like how you can get detached to numbers when you're not really like, where you're just not present, you know, and you don't know the value of what you have, especially and when you're like really, really young and you're just trying to, you're disconnected. So that was absolutely crazy. And this is from like 19-year-olds, you know, like I'm like 19, 20, 21 or something. That wasn't me though. That wasn't me that did that. That was pretty epic. Let's see, trying to go in order. I remember just cool experiences. Like I remember being in the pool during an FOMC and I'm in like 4 different USD pairs and it hits and then like within like the minute it's just like I did like 26K or something. This was like I think 2019 in pool in Puerto Rico. It was sick. That was cool. That was really cool. Was it a mitigation setup? Not even that XRP trade. It was like Fibonacci retracement structure. Just like it was before smart money. I was trading smart money. I've had times though on the other side where I went way too long without sleeping and then I fell asleep. Like I just fell asleep, I guess, like trading euro, and then my phone died. I woke up like I don't know, 13 hours later or something. Phone was dead. Then I slept through like I think it was 2 news events, and by the time I checked my phone, I had lost like 10% of my account or something. It was super tragic. Yeah, that one was awful. So that was like gutting. I've witnessed a high net worth trader, not high, I guess it depends who you're asking, but let's just say this guy had no business putting the amount of money, like multiple 6 figures into a trading account. And, yeah, he just like gutted it, like probably lost like 150K in 2-3 months in that account. It's just, yeah, that was just awful to witness. But Eagle, man, Eagle do some crazy things. All right, NQ starting to push. Funny enough, Dow kind of just still chilling here. So it looks like we're going to get this. I think we can get this set up over here. I think we might be able to see this one. Trading higher towards this range. I mean, the craziest stories though are probably the amount of people I saw make $1 million in 2021. Like I'm talking people throwing $1,500 at Shiba before anything. Like February 2021, $1,500, and then turning it into 1.5, 2 mil, 2.5. Same thing, 2021, there was a coin VRA, which we caught at like a 10 market cap, like right around 10 million market cap. And then we ran it up to like 450 million. So we caught a 45x on that. That was nuts. Seeing like so many people that like had invested, just like making some pretty wicked returns. Like that was super dope. Obviously those are like pockets of time where it's like experience, opportunity, luck hits as well. So that was, yeah, those were crazy. Let's see what other ones. There's just been pockets of moments where I'll go like a month without losing a trade. Like I'm sure it'll happen this year too. Hey Mike, what would you say about going to demo for a couple months, seeing if I can stay profitable, then going back to funded or buying it instant? I don't know. I don't think demo really serves you too much unless like you're struggling with some sort of like psychological element to your game. Like you can just like, because if you're trading demo, you're not dealing with the the pressure that's always going to be there when you're trading your own money, you're trading a funded account. So just trading demo, I think demo is great if you're looking to refine, whether it's like entries, exits, trade management, like you're just experimenting with things. But if you're focusing on wanting to it just depends on the purpose, I guess. But the downside of demo, once you're a bit more experienced, is like you're no longer, there's no stakes. There's nothing on the line. Yeah. So it depends on why. A couple months, that's a long ass time, dude. That's a long time. But I think I feel like doing a funded account and then taking it like low risk, it's like $50 or $100. Like that is, at least there's something on the line. There's expectations that you are learning how to manage. There's, achievements or milestones that you have to put aside to focus on process. So as responsible as it sounds, say, let me go demo for a while. I'd say you are missing out on the reality that there is going to be something on the line when you're trading at all times, and that you can't simulate. You can scale in, so you go low. You start with low things at stake, but then you gotta increase that. But anyways, I thought I was gonna be done with this session an hour ago, and here I am. I was so close to payout and gave it all back because I started trading everything and anything, and how I've been doing that again to try to get back where I was at. So your problem isn't it's like just that you going to demo isn't going to change that, because then you're not going toward right now. It's that you haven't disconnected from what you want and when you want it. That's kind of the biggest issue. So I know you guys can't see me super well here because it's like the super bright behind me. But I would say for now, I would say it's more running away going to demo than it is facing and understanding, okay, I can't, like the goal can't be to go get back where you thought you were, what you almost had. That's always going to haunt you. You're trading from the past. Oh, you were so close to a payout. Who cares, dude? It doesn't matter. None of that matters. In the long term, if you zoom out, okay, here, let me rephrase. And this is not by any means a personal attack. Everything I always say, guys, is for your growth. But if you're making a big deal out of almost getting a payout, it's because you believe that would be an achievement for you, that's like where your identity is. Oh, I'm almost there. But if you're coming from the belief system, from the identity that getting a payout is exactly what's supposed to happen for you, getting consistent payouts is exactly the person that you are, then it's not a big deal that you got close and you missed it. It's only a big deal that you got close and you missed it because you feel like that is a reach for you. You feel like, oh my God, like it would have been such a milestone, such a big moment. And I do believe in cherishing, the steps along the way, but we can't glorify those moments either. Because if you give that so much energy, it's so much status, then you're going to create a gap between where you are and that moment. But when getting a payout is something normal for you, when the moments in which you miss it by a little bit, or you make mistakes, it's not a big deal. I already know I can do that, so I just have to be more effective, right? I have to be more disciplined. I just need to tackle on this trade and the next trade with the quality process so that we can get the payout. So it's not going demo, it's being able to keep my focus on the procedures, on the process, and understanding that payout is already part of who you are. Like getting paid from the markets is within your identity already. So right now, the way you're perceiving it, and this is not just you, there's probably tons of people that are right now listening that getting paid from trading is outside of who you are. That's the harsh reality. Is right now you're choosing to believe that, oh, that's kind of like a stretch for me. That's outside of it. Like, oh, it'd be really cool. Hopefully one day. No hope. Do the work. Stick to doing the right thing. And that's how it gets done. I was about to say that, Corey. I feel like whenever you post the setups, which you take, they always look like they slap. You must be taking lows to revert the wins you posted. Yeah, for sure. I've started journaling, traded not just win and loss or almost in trades, but now I've been journaling trades that I don't take and why. That's fantastic. And if it was a winner or a loser, I've passed the content. I still feel like this. We got this. For sure. So again, it's an identity thing, guys. And I'm a broken record, but I mean, that's typically what it is over and over and over again. So it looks like, damn, down, came all the way back up just to drop. Sneaky guy. All right. So it's funny. As soon as the charts went off, everyone's like, I don't want to hear about identity. I don't want to hear about what I need to hear about. I don't want running away. All y'all leaving, when you're back, you're never going to see those recordings. So actually, I'm probably speaking to nobody here. But it's why you're stuck in the same place. Like, I'm going to just be real. Like, y'all get stuck in the same place because you refuse to acknowledge the truth. Or you believe, right? You believe that you're further than you really are. You believe that, oh, I already know everything there is to know about, who I am and what I need to do. I've done all of the inner work. If you've done all the inner work, then why are you in the same place? Right? If you've done all of that before, if you've already understood where your beliefs come from, right? What's stretching you, what isn't, then you would be in a different position. That is just a fact. So you may have moments in which you're coming from a place of a higher belief system in which certain achievements are already within you. There might be moments of time, but it's definitely not happening frequently enough for that to make a difference. So my suggestion would be to absolutely be honest about where you're really at. And if something that you feel like is actually what you do and implement most of the time. Because otherwise, you're just wasting your own time and you're convincing yourself that you're someone that you're not yet. But that doesn't mean you can't be that person. You can 100% be that person. But don't believe that you're them if that's not who you are most of the time. So, tough pill to swallow, but it's one that you need to if you actually want to make this happen. Because there's just so much that traders just refuse to do for enough time to make it work. And anyways, hopefully that just is a nice swift kick in the ass so that you actually make some changes and, implement some things that you're just kind of like, oh, I have time to kind of fuck around and, it'll be fine. I'll figure it out. But like the work that you're just choosing not to do is probably the work that exactly that you need to do. And we all do this. We all have this in different elements. It might be about trading. It might be about other things in our lives. So just something to think about. Honestly, that's why I love our syndicate program, because it's the constant feedback. It's constantly reminding certain elements, the systems, the belief systems that you have to do, right? Being able to go, you're going in that direction, come back and think about it this way. And even then, I'm gonna be honest, like just because you pay for a program also doesn't make you change instantly. I've paid for things that I didn't end up doing anything with. So, of course, I'm not going to get results. Now, when you're around the right people, it gets easier. There's a certain level of accountability, a certain standard, but you still have to set those standards for yourself. It just won't change on its own. All right. So, anyways, put that into work, guys. I know here I'm in like dark mode for whatever reason, but if you feel offended with anything I just said, that's probably a good sign, because that means that if it's stung, then it's probably healing you too. So anyways, if you do want to actually take your trading serious and stop playing around with yourself and just doing whatever it is you're doing, that came out wrong, pause. But if you actually want to take action, scan the code on the right, book a call to join the syndicate. I'll say this, and just because I feel very transparent about it, joining a program won't change anything. You have to be willing to change as well. This accelerates everything, but it doesn't change it on its own. You have to be willing to put in the work. And from there, yes, you can reap rewards. So much love, y'all. Have an amazing rest of the week. Everything I say always is for the betterment and growth of all of us. And honestly, I think we probably need more people kicking our ass more often anyways. So take care, y'all. Peace.